So this is the shoulder, scapula, humerus, arm bone, and this is the shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint. And a lot of people get pain right here on the front of their shoulder. Now there's a lot of muscle on top of this. So you will see the deltoid here, the pectoralis major coming in, really big muscle sweeping across here. So this is deep inside the joint. And a lot of times when people try to raise their arm, say out to the front or out to the side sometimes, they'll feel like a pain right on the front top part of the shoulder. And that could be the biceps tendon. So this is the biceps muscle. Biceps means it has two parts. These are the two heads of the biceps. And one of them, the short head, goes to this part of the shoulder blade that sticks out in the front of your chest, coracoid process. And then the other part goes through this little groove that I'll show you in a second. And it actually attaches also onto the shoulder blade, scapula. And it kind of attaches into this yellow thing too, which is the labrum. If you've heard of the labral tear in the shoulder, this is a cartilage part in the socket of the shoulder joint. So this little purple thing right here is what holds this biceps tendon, the long head, into that groove. So I'm going to remove this little, kind of like a ligament there. And then the little red thing you see there might just be tendonitis. That's just represents the inflammation that might be there. And this muscle here is one of the rotator muscles. So the problem is, I'm going to take this off. This one also gets actually inflamed a lot also. That's because when you raise your arm either to the front or out to the side, both of these tendons right here, supraspinatus or the long head of the biceps, can get irritated either through impingement, getting smashed under this bone right here, if the joint isn't functioning properly, or it can just repetitive motion and it can kind of slip out of this groove. So if I take this off, you can see that there's a pretty deep groove here in the biceps. Maybe this is a little deeper than it really is, but I'm just showing you that there's a groove there in between these two knobs. So this tendon has to slide in there, and sometimes it pops over to the side, and then it gets really irritated. So it needs to stay in there. But also, the main thing is that when you raise your arm out to the side, this bone, the humerus, has to come down a little bit. If it doesn't drop down just a little tiny bit, then and it stays jammed up in the joint, then these bones hit. You see? I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to take the biceps off, and then I'm going to show you that when you raise your arm out to the side, if all these muscles are really tight and they're not functioning properly, then that's going to hit. And so you want to see this slide down. See, this joint, this socket is kind of an oval shape. It's not like the hip. This has to slide down a little bit, and you can actually sense that if you do it. When you raise your arms far out to the side, and we do this with the meridian fascial stretches, you should sense that you're stretching your arms wider out rather than just raising them and jamming them up. I think if you practice some movement, some kind of movement, whether it's yoga or Pilates or some other core or dance, then you really have a sense that the arms are lengthening out to the sides, and that's creating some space in the joints so you don't get that impingement. You see? And then you don't get this tendonitis. We could throw that away, and then you have no pain. And there's this nice cartilage here, and that yellow thing is the labrum that holds, creates a little more stability, I guess, in the shoulder joint. That's it.